Hi, my name is Ali Abulela, and today we're going to be talking about disrupting Egypt deficit, enhancing stability through local production. Okay, so Egyptian central bank reports record deficit in terms of Egypt's trade balance, with the country currently posing one of the worst deficits in the world due to the high cost of imports relative to foreign currency inflow. Given the hard-fought stability that the country is currently enjoying after a decade of political and social upheaval, avoiding economic instability that could lead to further political upheaval is a top priority of local and international governments. Egypt has launched a series of policy reforms aimed at enhancing local private sector performance in ways that reduce Egypt's reliance on expensive imports. While industries targeted by the programs as varied as agriculture, currency exchange, and education, the end goal is the same: use government incentives and programs to encourage the development in critical sectors which are currently creating the most significant drain on Egyptian foreign currency reserves in order to reduce the current deficit. In order to accomplish this significant disruption of the current status quo is necessary. Okay, overview of Egypt's macro dynamics. The country began rebuilding its economy thanks to the stable political rule of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as well as sustainable economic reform grants from the IMF. However, this progress was severely disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic because of how the pandemic disrupted Egypt's main source of foreign tourism, remittances, and international trade via the Suez Canal. For example, while remittances from Egyptian work abroad have grown to over 32 billion in 2022, as the Suez Canal is now generating almost 8 billion annually thanks to major development projects since 2015. Tourism revenue has only just barely reached 4 billion for 2022, while initially promising in terms of growth and recovery from COVID-19, their unsustainability became clear when put up against the backdrop of Egypt's trade deficit during the same period. Thus, despite gains in two of Egypt's three most important sources of foreign currency inflow, the country is currently experiencing a substantial deficit, which in turn is harming confidence in the Egyptian economy and creating a circular pattern of devaluing currency, weakening investor confidence, and greater deficits. A significant distribution of this situation is necessary in order to preserve the Egyptian economy in the long term. Okay. Now we're going to talk about Egypt's National Structural Reforms Program. Launched in 2021, Egypt's National Structural Reforms Program, NSRP, seeks to reform the Egyptian economy in order to ensure sustainable growth into an economic model that will be more competitive in the modern world economy. The NSRP is an extension of work done through the IMF, through the same stakeholders, whereby over 12 billion was pumped into Egypt's economy in order to stabilize the situation of Egypt's poorest 2.3 million households, as well as accelerate economic growth relative to unemployment that Egypt sought to recover from COVID. Economic distribution through HEI's remittance, overhaul, and localized production. One of NSRP's key provisions is economic diversification, whereby local private enterprise spurred on by more favorable foreign direct investment conditions reduce Egypt's reliance on imports. For example, while Egypt does have its own domestic oil and agriculture industries, both are insufficient to meet local demand, producing conditions where Egypt's export deficit is increased by unmet demand for petroleum and wheat. At the moment, remittances from abroad enter Egypt primarily through a small number of money transfer companies such as Western Union. These companies mitigate risk and make a profit from fees taken out of these transfers, which means that local individuals and the Egyptian economy more broadly are deprived of significant quantities of foreign currency. Another key sector that can be developed to attract foreign direct investment and keep local purchasing in the country is in the field of education. Developing local higher education institutes, HEIs, that offer an internationally competitive quality of education is another major element of NSRP because of the economic and social drain this produces on the country. Finally, Egypt's path towards a more resilient, sustainable economy in the future. The unifying trend in each of these specific policy proposals is that they shore up domestic substitutes for the products or services that contribute to Egypt's current trade deficit. Without systematic, effective measures to control the loss of foreign currency reserves, any gains made through economic development will be largely wasted as currency is lost to service product imports. While Egypt has traditionally relied on its major source of foreign currency inflow to offset logging local production, this norm must be disturbed in order to ensure that the country is able to produce a sustainable surplus of foreign currency in sufficient quantity to support economic growth. To get this under control, the Egyptian government must follow through the rapid implementation of the NSRP in order to encourage local private industry to develop local substitutes for the main services and products that are shipping desperately needed foreign currency from the Egyptian economy. Thank you, and that will be all.